Realising what I'm doing, I pull away from her, my breath coming in quick, shallow gasps. I'm sorry, I pant breathlessly, feeling slightly dizzy. I didn't mean to do that. I turn away from her and stare into space. What the hell did I do that for? Is she going to hold it against me now? Wait, did she kiss me or did I kiss her? It's my fault, Chrissy says, clearing her throat. I'm sorry too. Don't worry about it. Still frowning slightly, I nod and breathe a sigh of relief. So you want to keep me company, huh? I question, looking at her with a cocked eyebrow. Is that such a good idea? With a smile painted on her face, she casts her eyes towards the linoleum floor and then turns on her heel, reaching for her glass of water. You know, Mike, I can't even imagine what would push you so far as that, she says, refilling the glass at the sink. What it would take for you to lash out like that. She's a way better kisser than I thought she would be. Not that I thought I'd ever end up in a passionate clinch with her, but a man can dream. It's not fair. My launch is live with Eve, as crazy as she is sometimes, but I want so much to take Chrissy in my arms again and kiss her until she tells me to stop. You know, I have no idea. I sigh, my voice all husky, and I take a thoughtful sip of beer. To be honest, I'd rather not think about it. Maybe a couple of these, I gesture with the bottle. Chrissy lowers the glass from her lips and looks over her shoulder at me before shaking her head. No, not with you. It'd take a lot more than that. You're not a violent drunk. I smile faintly, staring down into the bottle. I like how much faith she has in me. Well, now I think she's scared of me, and as if what I did isn't bad enough, she is also pregnant. I say, oh my God, I beat a pregnant woman. Is she? Chrissy sounds surprised. It's hard to imagine her being scared of anything. I knock back more of the beer, wondering if I'm drunk yet. Not that she thought I should know, of course, I say, bitterness showing in my voice. I had to hear the happy news from a reporter. And how well that went. Recalling my confrontation with Fleur Carmel in the hospital corridor yesterday, I realised it could have gone better. I'd had the shock of my life when I stopped in the hospital store for a snack and saw my name on a magazine front page next to a photo of Kelly LaHare in all her bruised and bloody glory. I skimmed through the accompanying article, which was a fabrication from start to finish. Then I bumped into Fleur, the author herself. I got a bit worked up and may have overreacted. It didn't help that she seemed to be revelling in my discomfort and bragging about how she had finally found a skeleton in my closet. Then she started on about Eve being pregnant. I didn't want to believe her, especially after she mentioned my stalker, and I got the feeling she was on a fishing expedition. Not surprisingly, I caused a bit of a scene and hospital security showed up. Stupid woman nearly got me kicked out. Okay, maybe it wasn't completely her fault, but I blame her. I'm past caring. The real kick in the nuts was, after all that, they wouldn't even let me on Charlie's ward to see her. That was the whole reason I was there, after all. Apparently being a blood relative counts for nothing. Is it yours? Chrissy says. She has lifted the bunch of grapes out of the fruit bowl on the counter and pops one into her mouth. The kid, I mean. I shrug. That's what I said. Eve responded with, how could I ask her something like that? If there was one good thing to be said about the fight with Eve, it has distracted me from my run-in with the police last night. At least there's that. But since both things are as bad as each other, I can't say I prefer to think about one over the other. Do you want one? I say, remembering my manners, and gesture with my bottle. Chrissy shakes her head and continues shoving grapes in her mouth. That girl, the rape victim, she was definitely attacked by somebody. Sounds like her way of saying the kid is yours, Chrissy says through her mouthful of grapes. I nod and mumble something in agreement, only half listening. The thing is, what if she believes it was me? The police sure gave me a good grilling. I don't have to worry about what they think. I was so wasted that I don't remember anything that happened after being in the club with Ryan. I was so drunk last night, Dolly, I say, looking at her with a worried frown. I don't remember a whole lot. What if I really did it? I wouldn't even know. That's what scares me the most. What if... I look into her beautiful face, struggling to get the words out. Oh God, what if I did it? What if I raped her? I drained most of the rest of the beer, swallowing down the terrified sob that was threatening to escape along with it. Don't you even dare go thinking something like that, Michael Miller. She comes over and takes the bottle out of my hand, setting it down on the counter beside us along with the bunch of grapes she was still holding, and slips her arms around me. But I was there, Chrissy, and the cops think I did it, I fret, my American accent re-emerging. You listen to me. I have known you forever, and I have never known you to be remotely violent towards any female before, she reassures me. Hitting your sister and me when we were kids doesn't count. I find myself unable to return her easy smile. Honey, rape is a violent act, and it doesn't usually just happen out of the blue. Damn it, I've listened to you hark on about domestic violence for long enough. If I've learnt anything, it's that in abuse cases there is a slow build-up, she says. She's an angel, the woman who sees good in everything, and she looks the part too. I have no doubts about your innocence. It's about time you felt that way. Thank you, I rasp, my voice cracking. You know I would kiss you on the cheek again, but it didn't exactly go to plan last time. She laughs, throwing her head back, and it looks like she might be blushing too. I smile, pleased to have made her laugh. The sound is so sweet, it's indescribably beautiful. I could listen to it all day. I love you, Chrissy says, her soft, whispery voice sounding more earnest than ever, and her face straight now. No matter what. Consumed by the desire to lay a tender kiss on her lips, I hug her close. My hands on her back, and my head safely on her shoulder. It's all I can do to stop myself. I love you too, I murmured to her hair, inhaling deeply. I want to kiss her so badly. Her body is so warm, and there's that lovely smell of lily-scent peaches again. It's crazy how hot my back feels where her hands are touching me. She's practically burning holes in my t-shirt. Pulling away, I cough into my fist and lift my beer. So what did you get up to last night? I say, eager to change the subject. She moves away from me abruptly and stares into space, avoiding looking directly at me. Nothing much, she shrugs, her easy tone in contrast with her anxious body language. I'd swear she's blushing again. It's the cutest thing I ever saw. I can't help smiling. Suddenly I remember what Dan said last night, even though it feels like that conversation happened a week ago, and laugh out loud. Oh yeah, I grin, one corner of my mouth turned up in a half-cocked smile. So you and Beth were doing this nothing much together, huh? She glances at me, her blush deepening as our eyes meet, before she averts them again. We had a girls' night in, she says tensely. You know that, so what? I stare hard at her for a minute, sipping my beer thoughtfully and trying to figure out if she's hiding what I think she is, while she fiddles nervously with the pendant that's hanging in her modest cleavage. I thought at the time that he was winding us up, but maybe he's onto something. Dan had this crazy idea that these two girls have something a little extracurricular going on. Her eyes flicker to my face again, and she runs her tongue nervously over her lips. Please don't look at me like that, she says, still twiddling the pendant through her fingers. If I'm not mistaken, I appear to be making her uncomfortable. You know, Dan had this interesting idea, I say, lifting the bottle to my lips. I'm still filled with the desire to take her in my arms and kiss her, and keep on kissing her. How am I going to last all night with her? About you and Beth, I add, tilting the bottle back. I wonder if she has any idea what I want to do to her. A look which can only be described as a combination of horror and panic briefly crosses her face. Really? Chrissy says, her casual tone obviously forced and contradicting her worried expression. Don't tell me. I don't think I want to hear about it. I set the empty bottle aside, unable to stop the slow grin from spreading across my face. It's true, isn't it? I chuckle. I don't know how she does it, but Chrissy has such a killer body. The short, tight black skirt she's wearing clings to her body as if it was painted on, and the neckline on her light floaty blouse cuts down between her breasts, exposing the top curves of them above her bra. Damn, I love her curves. I have no idea what you're talking about, she huffs, pressing her lips together in a tight line and folding her arms defensively. This gesture only pushes more of her flesh into the opening of her blouse and into view. Of course she doesn't. I haven't even told her what he said. But somehow she knows. If she's worried about us knowing what I think that means it's true. How the hell does Dan do that? He knew. That sly dog. Somehow he knew. Chrissy and I are tighter than John Travolta's disco pants, and I had no clue till he enlightened me. Okay, I smile, leaning against the cupboards behind me and resting my foot flat on the cupboard door so that my knee protrudes in front of me. I won't. I wonder if I should tell her. After everything that's happened today, all the stress, and considering that I'm tipsy at the moment, I'm surprised that my dick still works. Or it's reassuring, I suppose. If it continues into old age, I'll be the luckiest guy in the retirement home. Maybe I'll be the only one there boning the nurses. Nurses don't do it for me, but at that age you take what you can get. I do believe you are blushing, mister, she smiles, giggling a little. Opening the fridge door, which is right next to me, I pull out another beer. I'm not the only one, I smile, cracking open the bottle. She comes over to me, and as I'm swallowing the first mouthful from it, she takes the bottle out of my hand and drinks from it. So how are you planning to spend the evening? She says, pulling a face. You're looking at it, I reply, draping my right arm round her shoulders. I don't know how you can drink this swill, she says, leaning against me. That's what I was afraid of, though, and it's not healthy, hun, you know? She locks eyes with me, the look on her face backing up her words, and swings her butt towards me, pressing her hip into my crotch. I swallow hard, waiting down on the soft moan threatening to escape. It's pressing against her. She must be able to feel it, but she does not move away or give any indication that she has noticed. If you're offering to keep me company, I can't promise that I'll be good company tonight. I pant, my voice still husky, as I try not to sound as short of breath as I feel. Clearing my throat, I slip my empty hand between our bodies so that it blocks my crotch. Chrissy drinks a bit more of the beer, scowling into the bottle again, and seems oblivious to my discomfort. I'll join you in the bottom of a bottle, but only if you've got something better than this, she says, sounding slightly breathless herself. Or maybe it's just my imagination. I think I'm going crazy. I feel aroused and embarrassed all at the same time, filled with the desire to take her in my arms. I don't think I've ever reacted to her this way before, or at least not with this much intensity. I feel hot all over. There might be some spirits around here someplace, I rasp, clearing my throat, and gently extract the bottle from her hand before taking a drink from it. Lucky for you, I live with women who don't like beer. To my relief, she moves away from me, more importantly, away from my crotch, and starts opening kitchen cupboards. Yes, lucky, she murmurs. She bends over to look in a low cupboard, and I get a nice view of her bum. I want to look away, out of respect for our friendship, if nothing else, but I find it hard to do so. The hemline of her skirt lifts up more the lower she bends, and she stops just short of revealing her panties. Her slim, shapely legs are toned and bare, and her blouse flows around the edges of her ass like a cream waterfall. I thought women bent at the knees whenever they bend over in short skirts. I bite down hard on my lower lip in order to suppress the moan I feel like emitting, the pain that accompanies this reminding me that my lip is tender. I'm strangely grateful that my left hand is injured and most comfortable cradled in front of my stomach, and that I have a bottle in my right hand. It means I can't act on the impulse to reach out and caress her butt. Despite what the guys said last night about her being hot for me, I don't think she'd take too kindly to that. With an exclamation of triumph, she straightens up, clutching half a bottle of vodka, and turns around, smiling at me. Her face changes when she looks at me, though. Are you okay? She frowns. Sure. My voice is still husky, and I smile at her to back up the reassurance, but I don't know if she brought it. Let's put the TV on, she says, watching me carefully. Yeah? Good plan, I nod, and gesture towards the doorway with the beer bottle. Ladies first. You're such a gentleman, she laughs. I watch her move towards the doorway before lowering my knee and following her. Unless there's another reason, of course, Chrissy purrs. Without warning, she stops walking in the doorway and reaches behind her with her right hand, blindly prodding my lower abdomen with her fingers. Dolly! I gasp, my feet quickly shuffling backwards, taking me out of her reach. I may be a lot of things, Millie, but I'm not blind, she giggles. It's shocking how close she came to touching my crotch just now. I can't help what you do to me, I say. She had started walking into the lounge, but whirls around in the doorway at this, her face a picture of shock. What? Chrissy gasps. I feel the colour drain from my face. Sorry, I whisper, mentally kicking myself. I've had a few beers. As if that'll excuse it. Gee, I'm such a moron sometimes. What the hell did I go and say that for? What did you say? Her voice is even more of a whisper than it normally is, and she has not moved. Nothing. I lick my lips and cough into my fist, clearing my throat. Slip of the tongue. Her eyes slowly crawl the length of my body twice over, hesitating at the bulge in my crotch. I'm flattered, she says. I can't tell if she's joking or not, or even if she's mad at me. Mercifully, my phone starts to ring. Chrissy goes into the lounge while I swap hands with my beer and dig my phone out of my pocket. Hey, Roy, I say after looking at the display, the sound of the curtains sliding shut in the lounge accompanying my voice. Are you okay? He says, sounding really worried. You were mentioned on the news and seem to be all Twitter is talking about today. I tried calling earlier, but Chrissy answered. Oh, mate, I was so drunk I can hardly remember anything. I don't even remember leaving the club. I take a drink from the bottle painfully. I'm avoiding the news. I don't want to know what they are saying about me. I don't remember much about leaving the club either, he says. Have you heard from Liv? No, but I'm sure she's spitting fire. I sigh heavily. Glancing at the TV as Chrissy flicks channels, I feel a sense of dread. Whatever Liv has to say, it isn't going to be good. I'm not looking forward to the inevitable conversation I'm going to have with my agent. Yeah, she called me about 5 times already, Ryan sighs. I'm sorry, I apologise. You're not spending the evening alone, are you? No, Chrissy's keeping me company. I glance at the back of her head. I'll see you later. Okay, mate, take care of yourself, Ryan says, hanging up. I get as far as the back of the couch and haven't even put my phone back in my pocket before it rings again. Looking at the caller ID, I roll my eyes and brace myself. Hi, Liv. I know what you're going to say. I walk round to the front of the couch and sit next to Chrissy, lifting my left foot up and resting it on my other knee, with my leg flopped sideways. Oh, really? Where should I start? Liv Strider questions tersely. What the hell were you thinking, Michael? I feel like I'm a little kid all over again, being scolded by a teacher for some terrible crime against education, like flicking tiny paper balls across the classroom with an elastic band. When exactly? I don't know. Try any time in the last 24 hours, she yells, going full throttle. I'm still trying to smooth things over with the media because of that thing with Lahare last weekend. And then you go and essentially throw a grenade at your reputation. You were all over the papers with this assault on some accountant, which the police are now looking into, by the way. Or so I'm told. And this rape you're arrested for is going to make all the Sunday tabloids in the morning. It's already getting TV coverage, for God's sake. I've also heard a rumour that you smacked your girlfriend today. Are you destroying your reputation on purpose? Closing my eyes, I screw my face up and feel my stress levels rising. Liv, I really can't do this with you right now. I sigh, a touch of my accent showing as I try to keep my voice even. I pour a large quantity of beer into my mouth, but it doesn't help. Do you not have any idea of the gravity of the situation? Liv gasps. Chrissy glances at me, looking worried, and I smile tensely at her. You can be assured that I'm fully aware of how serious this is, I growl down the line, starting to lose my rag with her. This is the first time in my life that I've been accused of rape, and it scares the hell out of me how good I look to the police for this. I'm scared, Liv. I don't want to get sent down for something I didn't do. Really? Liv lets out a hollow laugh. This is you being scared? Don't fret about the thing with the accountant. It'll pass over, I reassure her, in vain apparently. So it's not bull. You really did assault this Thomas Slack, she says, still irate. What about all the rest of it? Liv, that weasel beats and abuses his girlfriend, my cousin, FYI, on a regular basis, and it's not the first time I've given him a hiding for crying out loud. I respond, letting my emotion get the better of me, and my jaw tightens, which reflects in my voice. I came at that worse than him, by the way, after he stabbed me in the arm, but I'm really touched by your concern for my welfare. I didn't realise you sympathised with people like him. I've been holding the phone tighter and tighter in my fist, and the stress is starting to make my knuckles ache. Going on the questions I've been asked by journalists today, you don't sound all that dissimilar from him, Michael said, and don't go getting all angry at me. I have to field all the phone calls. I've been telling them no comment, but I need to know the truth so I can decide how best to handle this. Without saying another word, I hang up on her and launch my phone into the wall behind the TV with a frustrated grunt, my elbow narrowly missing landing in Chrissy's face on the recoil. She gasps in my ear as my phone drops to the carpet in pieces and lets out a brief scream. Jesus, are you okay? I gasp. Horror floods through me with such intensity I feel like maybe I'm going to be sick, and I stare at her wide-eyed, making sure she looks all right. She stares back at me, her own eyes wider than saucers and her face unharmed. I'm so sorry, I gush. I loop my arm round her shoulders and hug her against me, trying to quell the panic brewing in my belly. That was a close one, she mumbles into my shoulder, the relief clear in her voice. Her arms snake around my torso and she lets out a nervous giggle. You know, that would have just about summed up my day, I say wryly and kiss the side of her head. Do you think I have an anger problem? She pulls away, lifts the vodka bottle to her lips and tips it back before answering. No, but you could have a drinking problem. She pulls her face. You could mix that, you know. I chuckle. I'm sure there's juice or Coke in the fridge. She shakes her head, the blonde curls moving in opposite directions to her head like yellow waves, and swallows another mouthful, grimacing again. Yes, you're right, I could have a drinking problem. I sigh, peering into the drops in the bottom of the beer bottle. I need to get blind drunk and blot it all out. If I don't drink enough, it will be a problem. I set the bottle aside and cover her hand with mine. Let me see some of that. She watches me drink from the vodka bottle with a smile on her face. I didn't mean it like that. I gasp, pulling her face. Oh, that's strong stuff. She laughs at me. I know you didn't, I smile. I turn my attention to the TV and try and work out what the hell she's watching. It's not long before we have drunk our way through the remains of the vodka in this bottle. Chrissy sounds so funny when she's drunk. She's bursting into giggling fits and sounds a bit like a lunatic, or maybe a hyena. As for me, I can't even remember what day it is, and thankfully my pants have stopped trying to impersonate a tent, for now anyway. The alcohol hasn't taken away my feelings for Chrissy. Let me help you to bed, I say. Looking at her, I still want to do all sorts of things to her, and it's unnatural, especially since I have a girlfriend already. Well, maybe the jury's still out on that one, but it's Eve's decision, and I can't act on my impulses with Chrissy. No matter what Eve may think about me and Chrissy, I can't make it true. That would make me no better than, well, just not a good person. I don't need another reason to feel bad about myself. I've already got that in spades. Chrissy murmurs something in agreement, and I have to stop and think for a minute to remember what it is that she's agreeing to. Okay, I slur, the word coming out slow. The empty bottle is lying next to the couch beside us. I sling my right arm under her shoulders and shuffle forward to the edge of the couch, hoping my legs still work. It seems like standing up is the first challenge. I half stand up and Chrissy loops her arm uselessly around me while falling into another fit of cute giggles, and simultaneously her legs seem to turn to jelly. I can't help but grin like an idiot as we collapse back onto the couch. I thought I was the one supposed to be getting legless here, I quib. Chrissy doesn't say anything, but there's a brief lull before she breaks into a fresh wave of giggles. Baby, I need your help. I can't get you upstairs on my own, I say. She giggles. Jesus. I roll my eyes heavenwards and try to stand again, this time with more success. We shuffle across the room towards the hallway and the foot of the stairs slowly. Her feet move forwards, but it's like they are lead weights, and every other step her knees threaten to buckle. Girl, when did you turn into such lightweight? I smile. It's your fault, she slurs. You've been pouring triple-strength vodka down my throat all night. I scoff at this, but don't attempt to address any of the inaccuracies in her statement. I think I've had a lot to drink, Chrissy admits, before nearly falling down as we reach the bottom of the stairs. I grip her tighter and brace myself against the wall with my left arm, painfully. Apparently no amount of alcohol can numb the physical pain. Then, rather predictably, she dissolves into a fit of giggles. Yeah, Dolly, I smile. I know. It's a struggle, but we make it upstairs without too much drama. Just as well, really. I don't want to think about all the ways going upstairs could have gone wrong. Can you move your feet better? I say. No, she slurs with a smile. In my bedroom, she stumbles, collapsing onto the bed, and I'm forced down with her. Then she rolls over, trapping my arm beneath her. Of course, she breaks into a fit of giggles too. Do you know how gorgeous you are? I muse, gazing at her adoringly. Chrissy stops giggling at this, but there is still a smile on her lips. Pulling my head closer, she kisses me. Even though it's a sloppy, drunken kiss, I start to feel warm all over. Honey, I started licking my lips and trying to think of how to protest. Suddenly being sandwiched together like this is extraordinarily dangerous. You should join me in bed, she purrs drunkenly, still smiling. It is your bed, after all. I shake my head and yank at my right arm, trying to pull it free. You're lying on my arm, I say, the strain of my trying to free it showing in my voice. Chrissy reaches down with one hand, slipping it into the tight space between our bodies, and starts rubbing my crotch. I want you, she moans breathlessly. Heat prickles all over my body and blood flows towards my crotch. I yank my arm harder, trying to free it before I give in to the overwhelming desire I have to start kissing her peachy skin. A moan escapes my lips before I finally get the use of my trapped arm back again. Pushing up on my elbow, my body presses down harder against hers and my semi grinds into the palm of her hand. Chrissy, I moan breathlessly, please stop. I don't want her to stop, but I know this is wrong. It's taking all the self-control I have left not to give in to the yearning. I have jeans on, and denim is pretty thick fabric, but the heat of her touch is penetrating as if it was thin cotton or non-existent. Trying to disentangle myself from her, I ensure I'm kneeling with her legs inside mine and jerk her hand away from my crotch, supporting myself with my left arm. Stop trying to get me in trouble, I breathe and wince at the pain. Chrissy beams at me, her eyes sleepy-looking, and arches her back, pushing her hips against me. Lucky for me, she can't wrap her legs around me. Come on, take me, she moans, yanking her wrist from my grasp. How come she has such a hard time walking upstairs, but now she has no trouble trying to coil around me like a snake? Is she jerking me around? I'm not going to take advantage of you like this. You have to stop now, I pant. Chrissy proceeds to grab hold of my right hand, possibly because I'm balancing on my other arm, and shoves it into the front of her low-cut blouse. I discover several things at this point. I thought she was wearing a bra, but she actually isn't, and her nipples are hard, her skin already hot beneath my fingers. I was also wrong about being too drunk to get a proper hard-on. Touch me, Mike, she begs breathlessly. Hissing through my teeth, I quickly extract my hand so fast you think it was on fire and pin her wrists to the bed either side of her head, wincing at the pain in my left arm. Oh my God, you have to stop, Chrissy, I moan, struggling to catch my breath. I lower my forehead onto her chest, which is rising and falling quicker than a prostitute's knickers, and try not to think about how hot she is. I need to get off the bed, but I don't know if I have the strength. She may or may not be drunk out of her mind, but I'm damn sure that I'm pretty close to being that wasted. It's hard to believe we even made it upstairs. Chrissy lets out an erotic moan, and I realise I'm kissing the side of her neck. This is dangerous, I whisper into her throat. Panting hard, I can feel my breath rebounding off the warm, soft skin of her throat into my face. She begs me not to stop, but I know that I must. My lips are so close to her neck. Kissing her is so easy. All I have to do is move my mouth downwards an inch or so. I had no idea she felt this way about me. How often does this kind of thing happen when we get drunk together? And why don't I remember? Is my drunk memory that bad? Chrissy lets out another moan, way more erotic than the previous one. I realise my lips are only a millimetre away from her skin. Biting down hard on my scabbed over lip, I move my head further away from hers and briefly shut my eyes. That is the hottest, most erotic sound I have ever heard in my life, I swear to God. Overcome with the heat of desire, I lower my lips onto hers and close my eyes. Our lips move together in synchronization, the longing obviously shared, as I feel the deep passion in her kiss. I don't know if I'm pressing my lips harder against hers, or if she's pressing hers harder against mine. Finally, pulling away, panting breathlessly, I pushed myself off the bed and noticed that I was still pinning her wrists to the mattress. Stumbling shakily backwards into the corner of the room, I'm panting a little too hard. All I can do is pray that my legs support me as the wave of dizziness from standing up too fast hits me. "What's wrong?" Chrissy purrs, a hint of a drunken slur in her voice. "Oh God, if I don't pass out right now, I think I might reach the dizzy heights of ecstasy without even having to take my clothes off. She has a gift. Nobody else can reduce me to a hormone-crazy teenager like she can." "Nothing. You sleep now," I puff. I lean my head against the wall behind me and press the palms of my hands against it too for extra support. All the blood has rushed away from my head. "Please God, don't let me pass out." Chrissy mumbles. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a protest or an agreement, but her eyes drift closed and stay that way. Watching her chest rising and falling from the far corner of the room, I can't help but imagine the way her breasts must look beneath that smooth polyester blouse. I got a good enough feel to picture the curve of her bosom as her breath slowly starts to slow in pace now, and her pointy nipples sitting like hot pink cherries on top. Under better lighting conditions, I could probably even see them poking through the fabric. The rhythmic rise and fall of her chest has now become the slow, laboured pace of someone fast asleep. I notice that she is laying really stiff on the bed, her head a long way from the pillow. I don't know if I have the strength to do something about it, but I really don't know if I can bear to leave her like this. Stepping forward, away from the wall, with caution, I pull off her shoes and her tight skirt, revealing her satin pink thong. The only way I could move her out of the bed a bit is if I was stone cold sober. I'll have to settle for moving the pillow down. Going round the side of the bed, I gently lift her head and slide the pillow beneath it. She lets out a deep sigh and rolls onto her side. Staring down at her, I have the urge to run my hands over her body and rub her exposed hips and upper thighs. I want to kiss her all over, and more, so much more. Remembering how much she said she trusted me, I close my eyes for a moment and exhale a slow, laboured breath, trying to gain a little more self-control. I should cover her up. It'll help for sure. Luckily, the duvet is not straight on the bed either. After wrestling with it for a minute, I managed to free enough of it to cover her up, leaving her half rolled up in it. Supporting myself in the doorway, I stare at her peaceful form on the bed for a moment. She's definitely asleep. After pulling the door to, I cautiously make my way back downstairs to the couch. This really isn't fair. She's fast asleep and I'm left with this big problem, feeling like I'm going to explode. I really think women get the better end of this deal. Flopping down onto the couch, I unfasten my trousers to relieve the pressure and dig the glass vodka bottle out from beneath me, dropping it onto the carpet. Exhaling slowly, I can really feel the alcohol making me drowsy, but there is one thing preventing me from dozing off. You know what they say, you can sleep with the light on, but you can't sleep with the heart on, and it's so true. There are two ways to deal with this, and I know which one I prefer. Starting to relieve the ache, I bite down on the moans just in case. I'm grateful she is so paraplegic that there's no chance she will hear me. Thank God for small mercies. They seem to be far and few between at the moment.